Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Moving into the Future. Today is a very monumental occasion because it is the first episode where I've got the keys to the castle. Lisa couldn't make it today, so it's just me running the show. We're going to discuss some current events, what's going on in the office space, office market world, office moving world. And I'm very excited. I feel like Robin Williams in Good Morning Vietnam.
Hey, this is not a test.
This is going to be great. So, I think as a lot of people are seeing now, we are seeing a lot more action in New York City. The city as a whole just has a lot more life to it, a lot more people in the streets, a lot more people back in the offices. People are vaccinated. Offices are opening back up. So we've certainly seen an influx of business, specifically at the Advanced Group with clients asking for, specific services related to the return to office, transitioning stuff either into the warehouse or out of the warehouse, a lot of that type of work. But with some recent events in the Delta variant, some big tech companies have made some pretty stark decisions to either close their offices or demand that employees are vaccinated if they do return to the office. We're seeing that Mayor de Blasio is going to mandate that all municipal workers are vaccinated in order to do their jobs. So there is certainly, still some controversy and decisions to be made. We're definitely not out of the water yet, but it's interesting. We see Twitter, we see Facebook, we see Apple basically making these decisions that we are going to delay our return to office plan. Or, in Facebook's case, you have to be fully vaccinated in order to return to the office. And that's going to be interesting because, we do work with a lot of large tech companies like Facebook at the Advanced Group. And, it's going to be interesting to see how those decisions trickle down and what that means for the return to office. Are we going to see more safety measures taking place in offices, whether it be, temperature readers or, gauges in terms of how many employees are in the office. Everybody thinks of us as just a moving company, but you have to understand those temperature readers and other technologies that go into the office, everything comes off a truck. So, we help deliver those items. We help install those items with our IT team. So it's going to be very interesting to see what all of this means for not only the industry and really community as a whole, but what that means for the Advanced Group. And we can help and we'll continue to help, be an asset to these companies as they transition and make these decisions, because one of the, most important aspects of this is these are very difficult decisions for companies to make. They want their office space to be a place that's safe for employees, that's functional for employees, and a place where employees want to go. So they're really trying their best to appease all of these employees, especially at these big tech companies, to make it a safe, functional place. And these decisions are very interesting because with the power that they hold as these large tech companies, other tech companies will follow suit. And, not so much to mandate the vaccine or anything in that regard, but, their decisions will certainly quake throughout the industry as a whole. And then the other interesting aspect of this is how are employees going to respond? We saw Apple employees push back at Tim Cook's mandate to be in the office. I believe it was Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And now we're going to see how they react, to this new news with them, pushing their return to office to at least October now. And again, this is an ongoing, I don't want to say saga, but, just case. And we're really, as a whole, doing our best to be available and make this return to office as functional as possible, because what we're seeing a lot of at the Advanced Group is preparing these offices for the return. And what that means is oftentimes removing items from the office and bringing them to our warehouse. And we did see an article recently, it was CNBC, where soaring warehouse demand boosts commercial real estate. That couldn't be more true. Our warehouse space is, absolutely loaded with clients' furniture and other, IT components. And what we do a very, very good job at the Advanced Group is being very diligent and detail oriented about how we either receive these items into our warehouse or release them back to the office. And that is so important from an asset management standpoint, because we use technology and we can be extraordinarily detail oriented about this, where every piece of furniture, or like I said, any other item that we receive from a client's office is uploaded into our database. And, sometimes clients want pictures attached to this. Sometimes they want the manufacturer, the date that they bought it, all of this information attached to it. And we can provide that. And what that offers the client is a level and peace of mind, knowing that they know where this asset is, they know the story behind this asset, and they know that they can request this asset easily, knowing that the asset that they request, again, whether it's a furniture piece, IT piece, could be artwork, sculptures, whatever it may be that they need, they know that they're getting that piece in return. They're not going to get, a similar piece where, let's say, they need a, Knoll chair that they have, they're not going to get a conference room chair in return. They're going to get that lounge chair that is going to, be returned and then be back on site and removed from our system. And we'll update them on that and keep them communicated. Once we make that delivery, we'll send them an updated inventory as far as here's what we still have in the warehouse for you. Here's how long it's be. Here's your new cost surrounding, that updated inventory and things of that nature. So it is remarkably important. And one of the things too, as this summer has progressed and we've seen an uptick in work that's really been prominent to me is a lot more consulting work, in the sense of whether they are decommissioning their spaces or in the cases where I'm consulting, opening new spaces. One of the good things about the moving industry and what I've experienced is that I'm involved with every facet of the build-out process. So what I mean by that is I work with the construction team, the GC, the architects, the designers to discuss their furniture plan when they're going to be, delivering furniture, whether they need that to come to our warehouse first or they're delivering it directly to site, who's installing that. All of the power components are available to plug these desks in and make sure power can run to all the desks. So I'm communicating those details and aspects of the projects with them. And I'm also working with the IT team and security team to make sure that everything is set up for day one, and communicating with them and learning about their process. It has been incredibly valuable from a consultative standpoint for these clients because, again, I've mentioned it many times, it's not their job to know about all of these things. And through the consulting that we offer at the Advanced Group for, move or office space opening, not to toot my own horn, but, I really do think we offer a superior service in that regard because of my unique experience, being in touch with every facet of the opening that I just mentioned. And then not only them, but also the HR side and the people team side and the office managers and how important their role is. We work closely with them too. And that's the really unique part about the moving and office opening industry as a whole, that we are involved with all of these different departments and parts of the project that is very unique because, people on the construction team frankly want to stay as far away from the human resources and office openings teams as they can. They have one specific job, which is to get that space opened by the deadline that they're giving, and they just want to focus on that. They got enough vendors and subs to deal with, and same goes for the designer and furniture people. They are very fixated on their part. They'll work a little bit more with the human resources department and things of that nature too, because to make sure that employees know how to use the furniture. We just spoke about Kevin with that, and really making sure that the space fits the need of those employees. But it's been very unique seeing how these clients have come to us asking for this type of consulting work and how we're able to deliver and offer a really, really unique and seamless process to these clients and again, help them through what is a very cumbersome process of opening a new office or decommissioning a new office for that matter. There's so much time and effort that goes into it that takes away from their main role. So when you do bring somebody in, like the advanced group to help consult with this, we can really offer a lot of solutions in that regard. So it's been really great to see. A lot of our other work has been in the health and human services area. That is really a booming market, especially in New York City right now, doing a lot of laboratory moves. And again, it's a very unique process because that laboratory equipment is so expensive and delicate. You really need to make sure you're working with a moving company that knows how to handle that type of equipment, and the advanced group can. And we actually have a very qualified individual who specializes in laboratory equipment and moving, and he does a fantastic job. And again, that's one of the great benefits I found of the advanced group is we have these specialty areas, mine being national accounts. We have a team that specializes in IT, a gentleman who I mentioned specializes in laboratory moves, another in hospitality, Seamus in the Fitco team with furniture installations and delivery. It really is a group of specialized individuals who can come together to make these moves happen, regardless of size or industry or anything along those lines. In terms of national account move as a whole, the New York City market is definitely my hottest market right now. I am seeing opportunities on the West Coast too, in California, in the Pacific Northwest. But New York's time has really come. And in the last year prior to Memorial Day, a lot of other markets were active, but New York has really started to burst back, which is great to see. And one of the articles we saw here is, commercial property sales are returning to pre-pandemic levels, which is good. That's a good sign for the city as a whole to rebound and just the nation as a whole, because it's not just New York City. It's some of these secondary markets that we talked about with Oliver that are, really seeing a lot of increased value, the Charlottes of the world, the Austins, even into Florida and different markets there. It's really great to see how the disbursement and the new dynamic around the workplace has benefited not only companies as a whole to be more dynamic and seek out different deals that may be beneficial to their whole portfolio, but also the employees as a whole. And I think that's really where we are trying to get as a society, specifically as it resolves around the workplace, is just having that flexibility. And, we're really seeing that transpire with different, Sunbelt cities and areas such as that where, prior to the pandemic were not really considered as a place to open up, an office. And now we are seeing that, and again, we're still early in this process. So how that continues to develop and evolve is yet to be seen. What's really exciting is that no matter where the moves are taking place or what the needs of the clients are, the advanced group can service them regardless of area. And because of my experience in these different markets, as well as our partnership with the OMA, the Office Moving Alliance, we have the resources and capabilities to really make these moves as seamless as possible. And again, there is this new unknown that we're delving into and have mentioned before on this podcast. And it's very exciting to see that we're starting to really see companies embrace the level of consultative input that we can provide, as well as our resources to make this seamless. And again, it's actually going to be August very soon. Actually, by the time this comes out, it will be August. So, the summer will be coming to an end, and that's going to invoke all new needs and possibilities, and we're really excited to see how that continues to go because, as we talked about, Lisa and I, the last time, the return to office and Tim Cook mandating that employees are in the office, starting in September, less than a month later, it's already been transitioned to, we're pushing that decision back. Twitter saying you can work from home wherever, Facebook saying you have to be vaccinated to come into the office. These are all decisions that a lot of thought goes into, and the biggest concern is employee safety and confidence in these companies, because beyond all of this, what we're seeing, and this is more on the residential side of our business in what we do there, is the amount of people moving right now and taking this pandemic as an opportunity, as a new start. I think I saw a statistic that like 57% of employees are thinking about changing their job in the next year. That's a massive amount. And that's a ton of turnover at these companies. And again, that presents all new challenges. So, whether you are picking up and moving, again, the advanced group can help make that transition easy. I get just as much residential requests to help move, whether it be locally in New York or interstate to different states. We have those capabilities as well and are backed by a massive fleet of trucks and quality movers who can really assist with making that new beginning and transition as seamless as possible. So it really is our aim to help really, really make these transitions, whether it's back to the office or to a new city, as seamless and stress-free as possible. And I think that's really where we excel. And it's funny, I was just talking to our GM this morning when I was in the office, and he said, you know what? We're really, really busy right now, but everything's been very, very steady and calm, which means that we're doing a great job of doing our jobs at the advanced group, and our coordinators and our project managers and our movers are all executing, to a high level where we're not seeing issues with, items missing or items getting damaged or whatever it may be. We're really doing a good job of functioning as a unit because, as I've mentioned on this podcast before, it absolutely takes a village, and not just internally, but as well as, the companies we partner with. We rely on them to do their part. They rely on us to do our part. And together, we do our best to make everything operate as seamless as possible the way it did before the pandemic. And that's our main aim. So, this has all been very exciting with this podcast. I think I just want to take a moment to finish up and say it's been an incredibly unique experience. And, I want to thank Oliver for coming on in our previous episodes and, really taking a risk because he was our first guest outside the organization. And, that's already paid dividends to both of us having him on. And then, Kevin, who's going to be coming up in our next episode, for really taking the time and to talk more. It's been really great. And I think one of the things that I've always had as an individual is a great interest in people. And I've been lucky enough to really meet an incredibly just talented and diverse and interesting group of people globally in this industry, whether that is, office managers or, movers in different cities or people who focus on the technology aspect of the office space. I've been very blessed and have always taken great interest. So that's what I'm really aiming to bring to this podcast as we continue to move forward and continue to grow. I got some really interesting and exciting and diverse people who I'm looking and trying to get on here. So that's the ultimate goal is to make this podcast as interesting and exciting and engaging as possible for our listeners. So as I finish up on my first episode, doing it solo, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Really, really from the bottom of my heart. I couldn't appreciate it more. And your feedback is always incredibly valued. Whether positive or negative, I embrace that criticism and really look forward to continuing to offer a incredible product, not just, from the podcast standpoint, but also what we do at the Advanced Group in terms of national accounts and moving in these different cities globally. I really aim to continue to improve and do the best I can. So thank you all again, and I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Be sure to subscribe to our podcast at theadvancedgrp.com. That's theadvancedgrp.com.